growing Japanese musical playlist.
Listen, Japanese music, I don't know what they have going on over there, but oh my goodness.
They
If
just
you just want to dance, if you want to feel something
mhm.
and not know what they're saying, Japanese music is where it's at, bro.
It all
So
started yeah, it all started with the Spy Family season 1 first ending. I thought
Spy
that
Family,
yeah,
that's what. No,
but okay, go listen to that ending and tell me it's not a good song.
but you're saying that's where it started. That's not where it
It
started.
started for me. I was talking about me.
Wow.
That's wild.
That you're new to the game.
Anyways,
Yeah, I'm way new to the game. I'm
Random,
locking
shut
in.
up.
I'm sorry.
She skipped Bayless right now. It's my turn.
Can I do my intro?
Yes, yes, yes. I'm sorry.
God damn. Thank you. Oh, the bathroom door's open.
Oh, no, 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 no. You can't do that.
Lonnie took a shower.
Hey, W hygiene.
WIG.
So thank you for joining me today for another episode of You're Being Too Loud. Today I have special guest Random and Santo. I'm just gonna get it out of the way. I have this giant welt on my neck right here, all the way down. We went paintballing. A motherfucker hit me in the neck 3 times in the same spot.
Protect your neck.
And then Lonnie got hit in the nuts
Protect your balls.
3 times.
Well, you got hit in the nuts 3 times?
Yes.
Oh, that dude.
How-
Was it by the same guy?
No, it was by our friend Lotta.
I'm not gonna hold you. Lotta hit Nolly. That shit was planned. Ain't no
that
way
was
she did that shit
personal.
on
That was
purpose.
personal.
Yeah. Lotta's a nice individual, apparently, when it comes to playing paintball.
And Santo wasn't not Santo. Stefano wasn't even there.
Stefano. I miss that dude. I miss him.
So, Random, you've experienced Reddit stories with me before.
Yeah, and every time
Santo
I
is
do it-
not.
Mm-mm.
So, I do only have one story today, but there's 4 parts to it.
I'm gonna get my support animal now.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm gonna go get the banana.
Are you guys grabbing support animals?
Because I'm scared. She already started with just one story. This one takes the cake. Okay.
Just one story. I have to ease you into it. Hold on, I gotta put these on. I can't hear shit. Y'all really brought out the support animals.
Hell yeah, you got us nervous.
Y'all
Every time,
really.
every time, Taylor, you've taken something from me every time I've been on your show.
I can't eat coconuts anymore.
I can't eat Jolly Ranchers either.
Like I'm not even just like to boost your ego or anything. I legit don't eat coconuts anymore.
Hold on one second.
And I'm an island kid. Like it was one of my favorite fruits of all time. I have not looked in their direction since.
So, you know, we're gonna ease into this. We're gonna have a little bit of small talk. We're gonna catch up. How has everybody's week been? I talked about me going to paintball today and getting shot in the neck. I have so many bruises on my body. This is my first time playing paintball. I'm very happy. I went 1 round without being hit and lasting till the end. So I'm very proud of myself for my first time. Random, what's new in your life? What's going on?
I officially bought tickets to Money in the Bank. I'm taking my girlfriend with me.
Ooh.
And I'm like, just start watching stuff. And then she watched the Santo the X7 when Edge spears Jeff Hardy. And
Okay.
she's like, are they gonna do this at the show? I was like, kinda. And now she's really excited, but also she's like, people aren't gonna die, right? Because she's never watched wrestling until about a week and a half ago.
She does know that it's not like actually real, right?
Yeah, but I mean, she's never watched wrestling before. And also
That's true.
the first thing she saw was when Buddy Matthews rolled his ankle at that right
Oh,
before his
God.
match on AEW. So she's already like, oh my God. And
So
I'm like,
I'd
go ahead.
also just realized that y'all can't see how bad my neck actually is. So here's a photo of it.
Oh my god.
Yeah. No, it's bad. It's like
Jesus.
actually really bad. So I just realized that.
How does he hit you 3 times in the same spot?
So what happened was we were across the field from each other and I saw that he popped up and was starting to shoot at me. And so I was behind a barrier. So I went to drop to like duck behind the barrier, but he had already fired off like a succession of shots aiming for my chest. But I dipped as
Ah,
the bullets, like as the paintball bullets were like coming like directly in contact with me. So it was literally just bad timing on both of our ends.
That's
oh,
so tough.
that is tough.
And for the Lotta Lonnie situation, Lonnie was standing and Lotta was crouching the entire time. So it was just
L awareness from Lonnie. L awareness.
And Santo Lauder's a very
she's
short.
she's like
already short.
5'2".
Oh, W.
So when she crouches, she's like 1 foot nothing.
She's invisible.
No, she really was. And she's also she does paintballing as well, just like Lonnie does. So it was quite funny.
Oh, so she was a vet in the game. She absolutely
so
knew what
was-
she was
She
doing.
aimed.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a planned it.
Him, Morgan, and Lotta were all like, we're vets. And they were showing it like every round. They were like almost the last one standing.
I can now I'm starting to imagine Lonnie playing softball, and I'm just seeing him slide cancel everywhere. It's not softball, paintball, and he's like slide canceling and stuff. And
But he literally like he moves and he's so silent when he moves. You're like, where the fuck did he go? And
Random.
we were on opposite teams, and he kept aiming for me.
Okay,
Bastard.
now that you brought it up, random over under. Is Lonnie good at softball? Yes or no?
I'm gonna go no. But I think if he ever connects with the bat, if he ever connects the ball to the bat,
I'm also.
it's
I
gone.
can't answer that question because I know how he's. He's not. He likes. Yeah, I'm not going to answer this.
To be fair, I've never seen him run. I've never seen Lonnie run, and I've been around him twice.
Lonnie's a runner. He's a runner, but
He's a runner. He's a track star.
anyways, Santo, what is up? What's new with y'all? With you? We're gonna move away from insulting my husband.
I'm good. Just been working a lot. Yeah.
So
Life is good, man. Life is good.
Does he have a good running form?
He's actually a really good runner. Like he goes running with the dogs all the time.
Okay.
Like you've
God,
seen
that is
Gatsby. You know how much energy Gatsby has. He runs with her all the time.
Okay.
Say his name when he appears.
Go away. Go away.
I believe in Lonnie.
Go away. So
you just banished him?
yes, I did. So Mother's Day just happened.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to make me hate my mother, are you now?
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Please.
I don't think that I can make you hate your mother.
Don't make it weird.
It's me.
Oh, God.
So, Random, you just spent Mother's Day with your mom.
Yes.
Santo, I'm assuming you spent it with your wife since she is, a mom as well.
Yes.
So the title of this story is My Mother-in-Law Asked My Husband to Subscribe to Her OnlyFans account to support her. Santo, you have to come back. You have to.
Santo beat me to it.
Bruh.
That's such a wow. What? Never in my life.
Yeah. Okay. Get your money, Mom. Oh, God, that sounds bad.
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
Oh,
top
my
rope.
goodness.
All right. I mean, yeah. Yeah.
We're here. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
Throwaway account for obvious reasons. My mother-in-law, 40 female, has always been very open about sex. When I first met my husband, she managed a sex toy store. About a year ago, she started working towards a degree on sexual health and wellness. She nude models for a local artist, and around a month ago, she started an OnlyFans account. Sex and openness about it has always been extremely normal for her. I have absolutely nothing against her working in the sex industry. That's her forte, and I'm happy that she's doing well and enjoying what she does. However, I've had some slight concerns about it before, not specifically her working in the sex industry or her openness in general, more so how open she is, especially with her own kids. For example, my husband and I started dating in high school when she was managing the sex store. When she would come home from work, she would stop in my husband's boyfriend at the time's room and hand us sample sizes of different lubes and sensation creams, saying, I thought you guys might want to try some of these. It always made us both pretty uncomfortable, and it was extremely awkward to have my boyfriend's mom handing me things to try sexually with her son. But nonetheless, the most conversation that my husband and I ever had about it back then was about how awkward it was. Awkward and uncomfortable enough that we never actually used these things. They just piled up on the shelf by his bed. Random, you were calling
This
time
is
out.
his mom?
Yes.
Oh,
No, this is
oh my God. It just hit me.
This is the males. Yeah, no, so this is the woman writing her mother-in-law, so her husband's mom.
plot
Oh,
twist. Okay, this is different now. This took a
oh,
turn.
I
This
was
took a turn.
I was like, oh, God. At the beginning, I was like, you know what? All right, just go. I'm
Another time while we were dating, fresh out of high school, we were hanging out with his sisters. His mom was still working at the sex toy shop. Once in a while, she would come home with silly toys. And on this night, she walked in with a 1 foot long, glittery dildo. She playfully whipped it around towards us like a sword. His sister screamed and ran from her for a while, all while laughing and had fun about it, snatching it from one another, chasing each other around with the glittering schlong. Eventually, my husband's sister, 17 at the time, said something like, Mom, you better not have brought that home to use. That's crazy. My husband chimed off in ill, stating he didn't need to think about that. His mom laughed and replied, Oh no, that's silicone. You know I only use toys that are glass. Again, my husband made a weird face but didn't say anything. When we got to his room, I said that that was weird, that his mom talked to her children about what she uses to get her rocks off, and he told me she's always been way too open about things that none of them wanted to know about, but that she's
You okay over there?
hold on, things just crashed.
Okay.
Nope. Well,
By the way, Santo,
mhm.
I am horrified
Bro,
about what
they
is about
just
to happen.
she just walks in with a dildo lightsaber.
That's that Saints Row shit. That shit was funny there, but that's a game. That's a Saints Row 3 game, like
Yeah,
edition. Fuck,
bro,
man.
bro, that's when she said that was his mom. I was like, oh, so we're getting it from her
That
perspective.
that's why I was like, time out. Because the whole time I thought, okay, this is her mom. So that's why I was like, oh, like, look, okay, that's tough.
So his mom asked her to subscribe to her OnlyFans.
No, his mom asked him.
Okay, sorry about that.
Everything
Everything
good
okay?
though?
Yeah, somehow a mug fell, and we don't really know where it was or why it fell.
Oh
So,
boy. Okay.
okay. Um,
Dildo
again,
lightsaber, yeah.
Again, my husband made a weird face but didn't say anything. When we got to his room, I said that it was weird that his mom talked to her children about what she used to get her rocks off. And he told me she's always been way too open about things that none of them wanted to know, but that she's always been this way. So he's just gotten used to it, used to tuning it out. As time went on, I got used to the openness. And it was just that, being too open about personal stuff with conversation. However, yesterday, the openness went too far. My husband and I were sitting in our living room watching TV. My husband got a text from his mom and opened it, had a visceral reaction. He tossed his phone down, stood up, walked away from it with his hands over his face while saying things like, oh my God, and holy shit under his breath. Naturally, I thought someone had died, so I started frantically asking what was wrong. All he said was that he didn't even want to open his phone again. I asked again what was wrong, and he told me that his mom just sent him pictures. I was confused, but my concern started to grow. I asked what he meant by pictures, and he hesitated before saying, I don't want to ask you to look, but I can't open it back up to delete it myself, so I need you to. My stomach dropped. I opened his phone to see what that there were immediately and immediately felt nauseous. There was a text that read, "Hey, I know you've always supported me, and I wanted to see if you'd be willing to subscribe to my OnlyFans so that I can get my numbers up while I'm getting started. Of course, I don't expect or want you to look through it, but more subscribers I have, the more engagement I can get. I was also wondering if you'd be willing to share my link with some of your friends at work, husbands in a male dominated blue collar job. The pics I included are to send to them with the link, but don't tell them that I'm your mom." And under it were the pictures. There were 3 nude photos of his mother, and not just naked in a mirror or a pic of the boobs kind of photos. They were full on pornographic photos. One of her tied up in BDSM gear, one of her face down, ass up on her bed, and one with her legs spread and a dildo halfway in her mouth. My blood was boiling. I deleted what she'd sent, and my husband and I were both silent for a moment. I didn't know what else to say or do, so I broke the silence by asking, "What now?" My husband told me to block his mom on his phone, so I did. I asked if this was something that his mom has done before, and he said no. He told me that in the past, she asked if he wanted to see pictures of the drawings she'd posed for. He'd always felt a bit guilty saying no, so he simply did not respond when she asked, and she never sent it. Then my husband went pale and started walking to the bathroom saying he felt sick. While he was in the bathroom, I blocked his mom on my phone as well as including her social medias. When my husband came back out of the bathroom, he called his sister. He had asked her if she was with their mom, and when she said no, he explained to her what had gone down. His sister was also speechless. Then he asked her not to say anything to any other family members right now and explained that neither him or I would be in contact with his mom for a while. He also told her that anytime we were home for a visit, he would let his sisters know so that they could plan to see them, but his mom would not be included in those plans from here on out. My mother in law quickly realized that she was blocked on everything by the both of us. And by that night, she had a whole family blowing up our phones asking why the constant messages haven't stopped. And so far, we've just muted our phones as we don't even know what to say. How do you explain that your mother in law sent you her homemade porn? That's it.
Um,
Santo, you got it. I need a second.
bro, how do you send your child? You're just busting it wide open. Like,
Face down, ass up, Santo.
send it to your friends, but don't.
So I am going to say the blue collar job that OP's husband work is the military,
Bruh,
and he could get dishonorably discharged for that.
she should be dishonored. Let me stop.
Oh
Um,
my god.
that is a different level of comfort and progression that I'm not here for. I'm sorry. I'm good. I do not want to see any form of my mom in that way. Happy Mother's Day, by the way. But no. Just hard no. That is crazy. That's wild.
The slip in of the Happy Mother's Day is what's taking me out.
It's
I'm
you
so
sent pictures like it,
Like full on, like those are like posed, like listen, no hand, like there's not a hand taking that photo. Those are like full blown, like setup type of.
like okay. So from the top. So I didn't think it was that weird that she, gives her. It's like a mom giving her son condoms or whatnot. Like I don't think that's too
I mean my mom did that.
taboo type thing. Like here, like I mean, I work in an adult store. Here, this is we know what y'all be
See,
doing.
I've already read one of the updates, so I have information that y'all don't. And
So with the information I have on hand, I'll preface it with that. I don't think that's too crazy. Now, walking in with the dildo lightsaber and just swinging it around like okay, now we're doing too much. And then you send me a link with your OnlyFans, give it out to my friends.
so this was originally on True Off My Chest. It was deleted, but it was originally posted on. I got 14 days ago.
Oh, this is recent. Oh,
It,
this.
in a weird way, I'm with you, Santo, at the start. Like, look, she I think she has a very
She's very sex positive, which
yeah.
I don't have an
Sure.
issue with. And honestly, research has like truly shown if you want to like reduce teen pregnancy, like abstinence is not the
Oh,
way, but having the open conversations is. So like in that sense, it's amazing. Like that's how a mom should be.
if that was me, Santo, in high school, I wouldn't be talking to a girl or trying to do something. But look, I kind of just it sounds like she just never had a conversation about how her sex positivity is affecting her kids. She just
Yeah.
moves and presumes. And how old did they say they were when she sent this? Because they're living together, they're married at this point.
So mother-in-law is currently 40.
So let's say let's just say they're like 23, 24, something like that. Very young. If she had them kind of early.
So do you want to hear the update? Because it does give a lot more context.
Okay, hold on. Let me throw the rest of my questions out, or my little observations. She just never had a conversation, or they just and I'm not gonna blame the kids. How do you have that conversation with your mom? Like, hey, mama, I'm gonna need you to stop talking about all this shit with me because this is weird. But how do you just
But
send that to somebody and
but
you're like,
also he thinks
bet?
it's normal. Like you have to think about it. Like
Yeah,
his mom has
that's
always been like this.
and from
So
what
like
it sounds like too. So like in the beginning of the story, she's 40 when the pictures got sent out. Is that correct?
yeah, so like currently 40, yes.
So before that, they were boyfriend and girlfriend. So she's younger. So she's a young parent,
Yeah, she's a
or
young mom. She's a young mom.
yeah, she's a young mom, and also they've been open about it, about sexuality and stuff like that. So I mean, it's not really a conversation. If he has an issue with it, he should just be like, "Hey, can you just not do this? I'm all you do you, but just eh, you're my mom."
I don't think because of how by the time I want to obviously this is all just speculation, but by the time he was able to start really thinking about this, it was either so ingrained that he just never he just showed his disgust, and you like to believe that the mom would have seen the disgust and be like, all right, let me hey, are you okay with me being like this? Was I doing too much? But they just never had the conversation. I wish kind of like his girl talked to him like, hey, like I just want you to know, like, this ain't okay. Like, even privately, they could have had a conversation. And maybe they did. That's why he reacted in such viral disgust when he got the pictures. Because
I
now he
think
knows.
no, I think anybody would act in viral
Yeah,
disgust if their mom like and the thing is that those weren't just like normal nudes. Like one of her in BDSM, like full blown,
yeah,
like
it's porn.
that's
That's
full
so
blown porn.
nuts to uh, uh despite the I think that might get you fired. Just obviously disarm district. I think that'll get you fired from damn near every industry that I can think of
Mm-hmm.
if
Mm-hmm.
that happens.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's just like god damn, bro. Like, are you
So
the lack of self-awareness to me is what gets me the most.
update. My mother, so this is the update. Minnie asked for an update, so here's a small one for now. When my husband got home from work today, he did have me recover the messages for evidence should it be needed. I screenshotted the messages with the timestamps and each of the photos. In the photos, I scribbled over her not so private areas as well. After that, I
Smart.
sent the images to my phone, once again, deleting the messages from his phone, both in his mother's text and mine, per my husband's request. This was something that several people suggested in the comments of my previous post, and believe me, we're on the same page before I even read them. My husband and I are also regulars in therapy, both individual and couples counseling. When we got married, we agreed that doing counseling from the get go was a good idea, not because we have problems in our marriage, but it gives us the tools to confront issues in the future and keeps us on the same page 100% of the time. That being said, I asked my husband if he ever mentioned his mother's sexual sexualness in his own therapy, and he said no. Since it's how he's always been raised, he saw it mostly as normal. I suggested that this should most definitely be brought up in his next session, and he agreed. I also asked if there was anything that has happened that was a bit overboard in the past. Outside of the conversation, he said his mother would often come home from work with new lingerie and she would put it on and wear it around the house for the rest of the night as they were regular clothes. When she would do this, he would either stay in his room or go to a friend's house because it made him uncomfortable. Several people asked why there hasn't been a conversation about her talking about uncomfortable topics. There has been. When my husband and I were dating, both of us minors, she would talk to my husband about our sexual life explicitly. Some of the questions she asked him are if he likes girls who are clean shaven, if him and I were using lube, if I preferred ribbed condoms, if we had tried certain positions, even if I preferred simulation via clitoris or G spot. When she would ask these things, my husband simply would not answer with more than I don't know, but eventually he did tell her to stop. He told her that he didn't want to talk about these things with her and that he knew I wouldn't want her talking about those things with her. And her asking this stuff made him extremely uncomfortable. Her response was to get defensive and act as if she was being disrespected. She would say that sex was normal and that she should be able to have these conversations with her son. She even accused him of shaming her sexually. So he went back to ignoring the questions altogether. Some suggested that we have an in person conversation with her about what's happening. Not only do we live far away, but we also aren't ready for a conversation about it. And we especially aren't ready to discuss it in person. This happened yesterday afternoon, and it was honestly a very long time before any sort of communication with her will happen at all. I did find out what she's been telling family. She's been telling them that she asked if her son supported her, not if he would subscribe and share her content. That is why family has been reaching out and asking why we've blocked her for asking. We'll be telling them exactly what happened, but we aren't quite ready to do so yet. And that will most likely come in the next few days. We're still processing all of what's going on. My husband has a therapy session tomorrow, and we have one together the next day. We will likely talk about this with family until after. We likely will not talk about this with family until after our sessions. That way, we can get our ducks in a row a bit more, and we're even considering legal action. Again, that is something we will bring up with our therapist before continuing. That is the main reason we took screenshots for advice. Screenshots for evidence. For those curious, yes, mother-in-law is young. She had my husband at 16 or 17, and we got married young as well. Very common among my family and it in the field of work he is in. And that field of work is the military. So him sharing his mother's content would heavily affect him. Not just a firing, it would give him a sharp sexual harassment assault response and prevention case. And possible dishonorable discharge, which would make it extremely difficult to go on after the military. That's all I have for now for an update, but I trust that there will be another. Thanks for so much of the advice and support I received from my last post. I seriously gained such a good info from the comments, and it's been really helpful.
I think they did. Okay, then it's just her. She's just barreling through everything. If they've tried, even as minors, at some point, she looked at them like they're friends, like they're your kids. They're not your friends. Like because she had to raise them kids, and for lack of better thing, good. She did a good job, at least from everything that we've heard. She's done a really good job giving her circumstance in terms of just being able to raise the kids at 16. The problem is she
What?
didn't.
Okay.
What I'm saying is she doesn't fully understand her role as the mother. Like I said,
But
somehow
that's
at some
random.
point,
That's because she wasn't a mother at 16.
I feel like in the other updates, then we'll learn that how much her family, her like grandparents did, like how much of the legwork they put in to raise the kids instead of her.
Probably
That's
a
just weird.
lot.
I mean, at I can only based on what I believe. At 16, you don't really know a lot in terms of what it is to raise somebody or whatnot. You're still trying to figure things out on your own. Um, dang,
Good lord.
this is different. Honestly, I think she's attracted to her son
But she does that
sexually.
around all her family.
No, she only does it around her kids.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
She
around her
only
kids.
wears lingerie around her kids. But she was specifically asking her son what he likes sexually
Yeah,
with his girlfriend.
I think she's a
Ugh.
I think
That makes
there's
so
a
much
I
sense.
think there's a level of sexual immorality with her. I'm sure be sex positive, be all of that, but I think it's almost to where you're perverting where the line is. You're trying to it's almost like she's pushing, like pushing how far I can go with sexual positivity type thing. It's very taboo. It's incest. I think she's attracted to her son. I think she's young
And
and he's probably a handsome guy and she probably having kids at that age. Unfortunately, maybe her dating pool was
Oh, that
hindered.
shriveled up.
A
Absolutely
lot
did.
a lot of that could have been hindered. A lot of the growing up that you do as a teenager, as a young adult, she unfortunately missed, and now she's discovering her sexuality.
so, can I
There's so
say
much.
I have a fact, like a little tidbit that I know. And this isn't within this thing, but it is within like a whole incest realm. If you're separated from your parents or your siblings and you're not raised with them, um, and then you are like introduced to them, you're like more likely to be sexually attracted to them because your brain doesn't know that you're related to them, but you see the familiarity, and so your brain's like attracted them. So like that's how a lot of like things like that happen. Of like, I didn't know, but like I went on a blind date with my dad and we like slept together. Like that's how
Yo.
that stuff like that happens.
What?
Yeah,
Oops.
it's
But
it's
they
it's
didn't know. But did they know at one point?
no, no.
So hold on. So this girl goes on a blind date, and the dude she
Random.
just
That's a random thing that I just made up, but like
oh,
it's an actual like psychological thing.
that's wow.
It's like something that your brain actually does
I love how you yell at random, by the way.
Wow.
because he gets loud.
Okay, I'll turn it down. I'm sorry.
Also, it's random. I can yell at him. I'm girl.
I know.
Wow. Fine. I
No,
was gonna
but
tell
yeah,
you when I was gonna come to DC, but I guess I'll just keep it a secret a little longer. Hurt my feelings.
I should go to DC and visit you guys
I
just
like
for
you
a
over there.
day. But anyway, but yeah, I do think I think she's attracted to her son, to be honest, and I think she's living vicariously through her daughter-in-law, and wants to know all the details. I think she finds it exciting. She gets off. She wants to know
Listen,
how
the whole like, I only use glass in like the first like part of it. I was, yeah.
yeah
Listen,
You
I
should
was
not know what toys your mom
I was
uses.
like,
yeah,
oh, she spends money. That's what I was like, okay, I'm gonna be quiet right here.
or she gets employee discount
I was about to say she gets employee discounts.
Yeah, but that's
or
still
samples or whatnot.
look. I don't know nothing about a sex shop. But I feel like glass anything's expensive.
Always.
Hmm.
So, hey, congratulations on the discount. That shit's still expensive.
So, final update, but we do have a small one after this. My husband and I have spoken with therapists about the entire situation and we've drawn a conclusion on how we will handle things. As advised by our therapist and based on what we've planned ourselves, my mother in law will be cut off until she does this self work and is no longer overly sexual towards the family. That being said, my husband and I are prepared for her to be cut off permanently. She will likely not attend therapy herself as she sees it as unimportant. I'm not sure if her opinion comes from her visiting a therapist previously, but she does believe that therapists just tell you everything wrong with yourself and why you need to change. They don't actually try to help your mental health, they just make it worse. I'm sure everyone can imagine what has caused her to draw those conclusions. As of now, husband and I will not be pushing legal action. We've decided that for us, at this time, we would prefer to lay down the law and what feels comfortable with, what we feel comfortable with. If, okay, restarting. As of now, my husband and I will be pushing not be pushing legal action. We've decided that for us at this time, we would prefer to lay down the law and what we feel comfortable with. If that is respected, that is great, and nothing will come of it on our end. If that isn't respected and there are more attempts to reach out, such as creating accounts, etc., we will most likely seek out a restraining order. As I mentioned in a previous update, I have saved the screenshots from the original issue, so I will have that to present if needed. On to family. As a reminder, my husband's side of the family was blowing up our phones asking why we would block mother in law. What mother in law told them was that we blocked her after simply asked for support in the things that she was doing. What they didn't know
She
was
didn't tell
that
them.
she sent photos of herself. We told them, didn't send the photos, of course, but did describe them. Things were understood quickly and nothing more was said. I don't know if family has taken it upon themselves to confront mother in law about this. If they have, great, she needs it. If they haven't, oh well. Now, from my own perspective, I was raised in a family where everything was very taboo. Sex, sexualities, our bodies, even our periods were difficult to talk about. So much so that when my mom found out I had a crush on a boy when I was 13, I cried and profusely apologized because I thought I would be in a lot of trouble. Asking questions wasn't okay either. So when I did have questions, I couldn't simply ask. For example, I overheard my mom say the word porn and I didn't know what it meant. When I asked my parents what the word porn was, and I got sent to my room. So at 7 years old, I grabbed the family tablet and Googled porn. Saw a bunch of naked people, got scared, and put the iPad back in the living room. When my parents checked the search history that night, I was screamed at and not allowed to touch electronics for the rest of the year. With all of that in mind, sex positivity family was incredibly foreign to me. The idea of being able to go to your mom and ask about sex or your body and have a conversation instead of getting in trouble was completely new. When my husband and I were dating, I never knew that his mom was going too far. I thought that this was simply sex positivity. Of course, I had intuition that things went a little far at times, like when I questioned the toy conversation, but when the response to my questions was, she's just really open, I chalked it up to that and didn't really question it anymore. To answer some common questions, my mother in law is not this much when it comes to my sister in laws. I always assumed it was because they were younger, but the pictures being sent only to my husband really hammered the nail into the convert incest coffin. Come to find out, mother in law also isn't quite as open with sister in laws. She is open about her own doings, but doesn't meddle in their own like she did with my husband. I mentioned before that she would question my husband on our sex life when we were dating. Another phone call with my middle sister in law revealed that she's absolutely never done this to the girls. In fact, there have been times where she's overheard my sister in law saying something about her boyfriends, and she would say, lower your voice, I don't want to know. As she would straight up ask my husband about
I
sex.
know it.
Another
Oh,
common question was, where's father-in-law? He's ever been in the picture. My husband's dad left when mother-in-law was pregnant with her youngest daughter. Mother-in-law doesn't have a father herself because he left when she was a baby, and there aren't a lot of men in the family. Two distant uncles, a few cousins, but as far as close family, my husband was the only male in the group. And yes, some people got it right. My husband looks exactly like his bio dad. Same build, same hair type and color, same bone structure, same eye shape, and even similar birthmark. The fact that makes this even more gross altogether. And finally, no, we don't have children. However, I have always had concerns about having children alone with her because of the openness. I know when my future children are ready to know about certain topics, those conversations will come from my husband and I and only us. I've always been concerned that mother-in-law would discard our opinions on that and give our future children the bird and the bees talk whenever she felt like it. Unless she cannot fix whatever is wrong with her brain, she will not even be alone with our kids, even possibly knowing them. But overall, this is my final on the whole situation. The original post was removed on the sub. It has been reposted on my personal page for those interested in reading. I'll remain active on this account to answer questions. So if any other questions arise, ask away and I would happily answer. Thank you so much for anyone who has given advice. I didn't even know the term convert incest before posting, and I'm grateful that I do now. It's given my husband and I something to do a little research about, and it changed our perspective on the past quite a bit. My husband will be talking all of this into therapy more than just his last session, and at my next personal session I will likely bring it up too. It's also a topic that will be discussed at a counseling together more than just yesterday's session as well. Again, thank you everyone.
I knew it.
Good call, Santo.
She's sexually attracted to her son, and I think that's literally because she had a kid at a young age.
And he also looks exactly like his dad,
Yeah.
she said.
Wow.
But it's so crazy, at least in this story, that the couple, excuse me, seeing the two ends of the spectrum, like one being overly open and one being completely like we don't talk about Bruno. We just don't talk about
Oh, that's
anything.
how my mom was. Like, we did not talk about that stuff at all. And like, it was very much so a thing. If I was sick, if I threw up, it was like, you better not be pregnant. You better not be pregnant. The whole time I wasn't even having sex yet.
Mhm.
So
Wow.
I was very much so like, sex is bad. Like, do not have sex. Like, do not get pregnant. Like, like it was not an open conversation.
See, my mom was a nurse, so I think even I knew at one point where we were going to have the talk, and
Yeah.
we only ever really had it once. My mom's not naive enough to be like, yeah, you're going off even to like a Christian school, and you about to be lily white.
My
So
dad tried to have the talk with me.
I'm sorry.
He started, and I was like, Dad, just no. I was like, no.
You know what? Nah, I'm gonna stop right there. No, your dad should be able to have the talk with you.
I think
Santo, I'm
it's
gonna tell
important.
you, as a girl who's just starting her period,
Mm-hmm.
Look,
and
it's tough.
your dad walking in to have like the talk with.
Well, do you the way you've
My dad was awkward with it. That's the like my dad's
That's the
awkward
that's
with
the point.
like he's awkward with that type of like I don't know what he's gonna do with my little brother.
But you,
And it's nothing against my dad,
it'll be
but
a lot
like
easier for him to talk to your little brothers than it would be.
my
Of course.
I don't know. Genuinely, I don't know. That
So-
man is. I
so
love
I-
him, but my stepmom ended up having the talk with me.
So
I
like-
think
like
you're
a-
underestimating the dad to daughter conversation that this is going to happen.
I would say this because and it's so ironic that we're talking about this right now, because I literally a couple of days ago I sent a message to Lonnie, to Random, and to Shar, and I was saying like, man, like I'm getting nervous and
Mhm.
not uncomfortable, but I'm getting to an age where I'm a parent and
Mhm.
my daughters are 9 and 7. They're
Okay.
going to be, she's going to be 10 in December, and the other one's going to be 8 in December as well. Like I'm getting to an age to
Where
where
you-
I'm going to start, dealing with menstrual cycles in the entire house.
So, and I'm going to cut this part out because this is a very privatized part.
I don't mind. Oh, for you.
No,
mean,
I'm just it might be, I don't know, because
for me it's
so
not.
you can
Same with
base
me.
when your daughters will most likely start their period, like what age they will, based
Mhm.
off of when your wife started hers.
Yeah, which is around this time.
Yeah, so like I started mine around like 10 or 11,
Mhm.
and my mom also started hers around then. But like you can also gauge like the severity of it based off
Mhm.
of hers as well. My mom had very bad cramps and everything, and I had severe like cramps and bleeding for honestly, and like I until I got on birth control, and even then they were still bad. Like I was full blown passing out from pain.
So
Oh,
you had a
Jesus.
really heavy flow, is what you're saying.
It wasn't even just the flow. Like I wasn't passing out from blood loss. I was passing out from pain of
Pain,
the
okay.
cramps.
Oh my God.
I
Yeah.
took in the. I just heard Lonnie yelling. I don't know what he's doing. Like they had to prescribe me 800 milligram like ibuprofens, and I would
Mhm.
take anywhere from like 3 to 5 of those a day.
Oh my God. And
Yeah.
you were still passing out?
Yeah.
Let's talk.
So like that's what I'm saying though. Like that's
Straight
things that
country
like
stuff.
Mhm.
my dad couldn't have though. Like my dad could have like he was so against me being on birth control, but he just doesn't that's what I'm saying. Like I
Okay.
understand like there's just certain things where it's like dads just will not.
No,
I just feel like he wasn't prepared.
So we're for
Oh hell no. Hell no. Listen, you saw my dad at the wedding. You think that man was prepared for me to go through anything?
Look,
So
I think real quick, Santo, and
Okay,
I'll
go
be
ahead,
quiet.
go
I
ahead.
think me, as if that ever happens to me, I think I would try to be as prepared as I could so that I could try to answer as many questions as I can. Because I think at some point that conversation needs to be had between me and my daughter, because at least so that she knows, let's just say in a crazy situation, because I still feel like the mom would get the call first, that she shouldn't be like, oh, I'm calling dad, I'm gonna be okay.
Well,
You
not
know?
only that, dads can give a perspective of like men.
Yeah.
I, so I'll push back just a little bit on that. From my perspective, and I can only speak from mine. I can have a conversation regarding my daughter having a menstrual cycle, but with the understanding that there's just some things that I am not going to be able to relate to or express or explain. I've had a conversation with my wife saying, like, hey, we kind of need to have more conversations with our kids regarding this, which we have. Like, I've expressed what a period is. I get pads for my wife, liners, everything that she needs. I mean, I know regarding that, but there's just some things that I won't be able to deal with. And
Yeah.
that's why it's so important to have both sides. Like, I'm not going to be able to explain to her how the emotional process is regarding a menstrual cycle. I'm not going to be able to explain the type of, like, the cramps that you feel. I'm not.
Santo, I'm just gonna say I pray for you. Listen, I was a menace to my parents throughout those years.
Oh, he's by
Yeah.
himself too. Oh God.
Yeah, it's three. It's
Oh,
three girls in the house.
he
So
getting
I.
jumped. He getting
So
jumped every month.
Well, no, because
when they
random,
sync,
you don't
when they
understand.
sync up, I'm cooked, bro. I'm cooked.
So for the first, like, throughout, like, when you start up until you're probably in like your like mid-20s or something like that, your hormones are like raging and not consistent at all. So his wife is like, okay, I've had this for like X amount of years. Like, I know what's gonna happen in my cycle, and she can kind of like understand why she's doing stuff. His daughters are not.
It's gonna be like that. You remember the Twilight movies where the new vampires were just eating people, and they were saying, like, "Chill, don't do that," and they're like, "No, we need to feed."
That's gonna
Like,
be his
like that.
daughters.
Oh God.
The screaming, the slamming doors, the like, it's going to be hell.
Hey, I'm gonna drop kick some kids. I'm all for it.
But
Yeah.
back to the story with this
Back,
whole
yeah.
with the mom and everything, like,
That is
there's sex positive, and then there's what she did.
there's sex positive, and then there's mental health issues, and she has
And
mental.
then there's grooming your son.
Ironically, I think she may have made them be as safe as possible when it comes to sex, because they were married for a few years and they didn't even think about having kids.
Yeah, but they didn't think about having kids because of her.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
didn't feel
that's what I mean.
they didn't feel safe
Absolutely,
of her.
and I understand that's part of it though. Like, so they don't mess around. In terms of they don't,
People need good friends,
yes,
because you have the guy this is all he's known. So yeah, he's a little uncomfortable with it, but he doesn't know the other side. She, on the other hand,
no,
is
she got no
it's
friends.
completely, we don't talk about this at
So
all.
she didn't know. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
really, where are their friends? Because if I would have heard, if any of my friends would have came up and been like, "Yeah, my mom wore lingerie around the house." What do you mean? I found my mom's lingerie by accident once, and she like moved that shit and rehid it.
I,
I don't
and
know.
this is just me. I don't even think that's bad.
It
It's
depends on the
the
type of. It depends on the type of
no,
lingerie.
here, it's all in the details. My thing is, I don't think it's bad. Like, if she wears lingerie in the house and whatnot, but it's like, what do you think of this? Like, that's where it's like, hey,
Do you want to see my drawn nude? Like,
no, no,
No, no,
no,
that
mom.
do
that's
you like a
weird.
clean
Even in like an arty
shave?
way.
Yeah,
Do you like
that.
a clean shave? Like, how does she prefer it? Like, things like that's not converse. Like, okay, I get it. Like, hey, I got these like loop sample packets at work. Like, be safe. Here's some condoms that I got at work. Be safe. Like, I understand that, but like,
Yeah, that's what my mom did with me. Like, hey, condoms here. Just don't bring no girl pregnant in the house. Don't smash in the house.
now if my mom found condoms, she would have lost her shit.
Well, I
Which
mean,
is crazy. My mom, she just gave me a shit ton. She just like, look, man.
I
Like,
mean,
I
let's
used
have
to,
let's have the
it's a different
conversation.
it's a different perspective because we're guys, and
Yeah.
Taylor's on the other
it
side of
is.
that.
It is. I like the like thought of having like even still to the same. My mom's like, I want grandkids. I want grandkids. If I were to get pregnant tomorrow, I'd be terrified to tell my mom.
Why?
To this day,
Wow.
Why?
like that, because she
No,
instilled
it
that
makes sense.
fear in me.
Yeah.
Like she instilled that fear in me.
Yeah, but don't you think that? Well, now this random. I like to ask. I like to ask questions. So
Mhm.
if I push a little too far, you let me know, and I'll
I'm locked in. I'm locked in with you.
But in your mind, do you think that fear has like an end date now that you are married? You are in your own household. You're married. Why doesn't it have an end date?
The threats that were there. Like
Okay.
it like you like I when I say like I couldn't even get like the stomach flu without her like screaming at me.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't even like throw up without
Gotcha.
it being like, you better not be fucking pregnant. Like, if you're fucking pregnant, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, it was a, like, no, not even an option.
But not even with your current understanding that is a sure, was it overboard? Yes, but even with the understanding, with hindsight, that it was for that period of time in her
Even with the
daughter's.
hindsight, the fear is still there. Like, they was like almost like you better not go to jail fear type of thing.
Okay,
Like, it's on like almost that level.
so
It's like ingrained in my system to be fearful to tell my mom if I'm pregnant.
that fear overcomes your logic, is what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
It's
Huh.
called trauma.
Well, yeah. I mean, it definitely is.
Look,
But I will also say, as a girl, it is a lot different watching my little brothers getting a very more like, because my one little brother is 10 turning 11 this year, and the other one is 9 turning 10. So a very more like positive sexual thing for them. And I'm like, it's different.
The double
Watching men go through puberty is so, well, boys, because they're my little brothers, but like even like with my cousins when we were kids, like watching them go through puberty and then watching my little brothers go through puberty and then watching like knowing how I went through puberty, it's so different. It's so
Oh
different.
yeah, 100%. And yeah, the double standard is there. I'm
mhm.
not gonna say unfortunately because it is what it is, but yeah, there's a double standard.
I've always
Y'all
wondered.
are told to go fuck anything, and we're
Whoa,
told if we're
No,
fuck.
no,
whoa,
no.
whoa,
I was
whoa.
no, no, no.
My
That's that.
mom, my mama would have killed me if I was doing that.
But
I
it's
would say
the thing is, y'all
that's the
are.
misconception though.
That's
Like
yeah.
go smash everything. No,
You
that's not
literally just said
sexual.
that your mom gave you condoms.
Yes,
Yeah, but
to be
that doesn't
safe.
mean she's like, bro, open like business is
Like
open.
No, but she had the understanding that you were going to. So what I'm saying is, when men are like going through puberty, when they're like boys going through puberty, it's a thin common knowledge where it's like, okay, it's almost like the saying, boys will be boys. They're going to like have sex, so let's give them condoms to be safe about it.
okay.
But if you're a woman and you're going through puberty as a child, you're told like you're not allowed to have sex. If you like, God forbid, if you have sex with more than one man, you're a whore. It'll get around school that you're loose. Like there's like, I watched that happen to like girls in high school
Mhm.
all the time. So it is a double standard. Like guys get applauded if they have more than like if they're racking up bodies in high school. Yes, they are.
Nah, I
Yes,
can't
they
say that
are.
because we had a kid that
Go ahead.
And I don't mean racking up bodies in the sense of like a lot, but like if you were to sleep with like 2 girls or something like that, like you wouldn't be called loose or anything like that or
Gotcha.
easy.
Okay.
It's something that happens like in just day-to-day life. Like men are applauded for being hoes almost and women are not.
I mean, now that we're grown, absolutely. Absolutely. I think for me personally,
I'm sorry, Random. What were you saying? I'm channeling my inner Lonnie at one point. I'm channeling my inner David.
That's an inside joke. I have no idea what's going on
look,
right now.
look. I don't
So you not allowed to talk.
no. Okay, hold on.
Nope.
No, I was just talking about for me and my mom when I left. That's what I was talking about. You act like
Yeah.
hold on. You act like I'm like Jones, who's like front of the damn pack, absolutely trying to make things happen.
Random, you know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
And I don't know what
Mhm.
nobody's talking about. I feel like should I leave?
Later. Can I just talk about me and my mom?
You can talk about you. I'm just saying. We still have one more update to get through, by the way.
Jesus Christ. I'm obviously as you grow, it changes because there's a reason why she said that. But when I was leaving for college, she never said it. Santo, you know what I mean? She never says it, but like she was like, my mom legitimately was like, I hope you find the woman that you're gonna be with for the rest of your life, or nothing happens.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it was for me for a long time. Even though obviously I was playing football, so football is even crazier with the shenanigans athletes, especially college athletes, get into. But probably until like my sophomore year to my junior year, like that late period, that's when I was like, maybe I was like, I could start moving in that direction. Like I wasn't fucking. You can call any of my boys that when I went to college, but they'll tell you I wasn't fucking like that.
Just because you weren't fucking doesn't mean that that's what I said isn't true.
I don't. I think
I'll-
if I
I
was
watched it happen in real time to myself.
Okay.
okay,
So did I.
my mom
No,
would
you
have been
didn't.
my mom would have been so
Okay.
crushed if I was like that.
You didn't watch me.
No, I'm not talking about.
I was gonna say you were not there.
No, I'm saying like I've have my experience. You have yours, and I understand. Like we're different genders and whatnot, but in I think there's such a misconception at times that has been created that they're just told to smash women. Like men are just told to smash women because it's cool.
So that might not have been the best thing. Society is what I was referencing, not like
Even to a certain extent, society
to a
also
certain
has that
extent, yes, but like there's certain extents with like women too. Like you can't be a prude, but also you can't like sleep with too many men. Like there's like a almost like a magic number, but like whatever. Okay, let's get into this last update real quick.
Okay.
So last update, this was 3 days ago. We are proceeding with a restraining order against my mother-in-law for sexual behavior towards her son.
Oh Jesus.
Posting this to my page because the original post has been under review for a while now, thanks to commenters who let me know they couldn't see it. Hello again, everyone. A little over a week ago, I thought I had logged out of this account for good. I posted about my husband's mother, asking him to subscribe to her OnlyFans and sending him explicit messages of herself, along with updates to those things. And unfortunately, many people in the final update comments were correct. That was not the last of her. But at the very least, I thought our peace would have lasted a little bit longer than it did. My mother-in-law had left us alone, and when we did let family know what happened, they fully backed us in our decision to cut her out. In some reach of desperation, mother-in-law created another Instagram account because my husband had blocked her. She went on to his account it is in private and went through his following list. Then she messaged a bunch of my husband's friends. The messages read, "Maybe you've heard of me," and then a link to her OnlyFans. Since several of our friends got the same message and many of them spend 24/7 together, both at work and living in barracks together, they put together that they all got the same message from the same person. Obviously, they thought it was funny. A middle aged woman sending her OnlyFans link to a bunch of army grunts. While my husband was at work, someone brought it up and asked who else got an OnlyFans DM. A majority of my husband's friends replied that they got it, but my husband was confused and asked what they were talking about. So one of them explained that some older woman sent them all messages, and then he turned his phone to show my husband the link. My husband said he held it together the best he could and just said that it was weird and tried to laugh it off. He called me on his way home to tell me everything, and I could hear the rage in his voice. When we got home, he called his sister to ask her to get info from his mom. He told her to ask how she found all of his friends on Instagram. She finally admitted to looking at my husband's followers from the account she messaged his friends on. My husband texted his friends to block the Instagram account. I'm sure that they all questioned why, but I don't know if he said anything or gave them a reason because I know he doesn't want them knowing that he has any connection to this woman, let alone that she is his mom. We heard from my husband's older sister and that sister, the one my husband called, finally blew up at their mom and outright told her that she would never hear from her son again because of this. So, mother in law got on the fake Instagram account and started trying to call my husband. My husband answered one of the calls because he wanted to give her a piece of his mind as well. Mother in law was already crying, trying to explain that she was just trying to expand her business so that she could support their family. My husband told her to go back to her real job and she was desperate shitbag and that she would be out of both of their lives for good. He hung up and blocked the account, so she started trying to reach the fake account. I blocked her as well. This all happened around 5 p.m. today, and since then we've been contacted by her through text and call on other fake Instagram accounts. Text now numbers. We've had about 4 different Snapchat accounts requests to add us, Facebook friend requests from new accounts as well. We will not be responding to any of these, but we will be taking screenshots and documenting everything. Finally stopped when she tired herself out about 2 hours ago. We've changed all of our social medias to private. We've changed our profile settings to where messages and calls from accounts that aren't following us won't get notifications, but we'll go to a message request folder. We want to build up as much evidence of her trying to reach us as we can. The same goes for our text messages. Any numbers not in our contacts will go to a request folder. However, we can't do anything about the phone calls as of right now, as we both receive calls from unknown numbers regarding work often enough. Luckily, we're able to tell which ones are mother-in-law and which ones are work because of the area code. So we'll know which calls not to answer. We will be going to speak with an attorney as soon as we can. My husband is trying to come up with a way to get screenshots from his friends without letting them know the situation, which unfortunately probably won't work out for at least some of them. I don't know exactly what we can do yet, but our plan is to push for a restraining order or some kind of no contact order. We can't do this shit anymore. Again, thanks for all the supportive we've received when I posted the original post. We're working on out any way we can to make sure this behavior never reaches us ever again. I'm sorry if this story seems choppy or uh, strangely written. I'm truly exhausted and I've been losing sleep, not only over this, but over some major stress going on in my own family on top of it. It's late. There's a lot on my mind. I'm angry, stressed, and annoyed, and I can no longer handle this monster of a so-called mother being a part of that stress because of her desperation, downright sexually abusive behavior towards her son from when he was a child to now.
God, that's just she.
I don't know what to say.
I don't think there's a lot you can say.
She needs help.
Yeah.
She has a she has a mental problem.
I don't even know if you can call trying to groom your son a mental problem.
Well, I do. She needs oof.
I feel like that's a slippery slope to saying that like predators are mentally. I don't know.
I don't think that should be used as a cop out.
I don't
But
think that's where more of what
yeah.
I'm saying. Like, I don't want it to be used as a cop
Oh,
out as to
definitely not.
why like you think it's okay to
No.
overly sexualize your son at a
No,
young
Nah, she
the
should be
fact that
perfectly
you
fine.
have the desire to overly sexualize your son is an issue. Like not using the mental disorder trope as a cop out. She,
Hit
I
on the
mean,
ha ha.
yeah,
Yes, I did. I was like, my shoulder was hurting, and I was like, did I get hit on this shoulder too? And then I hit a bruise.
Jeez. She got lit up, Santo.
yeah.
Lit up.
With this, I don't know. Like, I don't think it should be this hard to block someone.
It can be. It can be. I've had to get a restraining order on someone before.
Why haven't they done a restraining order from way before?
Well,
They,
because
they did. They it didn't really. The pictures, the text with the pictures about the OnlyFans was like the inciting incident.
yeah, like that was the incident. So 2 weeks ago, and in their like final update post, they even stated like they weren't going to take legal action because they talked to their therapist and like they put boundaries in place and like blocked her and was like, if you went back in our lives, then these are the steps that you need to take to do it to better yourself because this is not acceptable. And she spiraled.
That's
And
that.
she's currently in the middle of a crash out, let's be honest.
Absolutely.
I would have filed that restraining order after.
I would say about a level 5 random crash out.
And the fact that she messaged just like, "Hey, I didn't mean to hurt you. I just want to expand my business." That's not even taking that's just blind, not taking accountability, anything,
after she messaged all of his coworkers,
which can cost him his job.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That can cost anyone their job on not just military. If you worked anywhere,
Yeah, any company would say like, "Hey, I don't want to deal with this. Nothing
But-
against you, but we just don't want to have to deal with this if anything were to happen. So we're just gonna. It'll be easier to just let you go than deal with it."
okay, hold on.
Yeah,
Wait.
dishonorably discharged too is nuts. You can't do a lot of stuff, right?
Mhm.
When you're back home with that.
So OP like husband is anywhere from like 24 to 25.
Uh-huh.
So he's in charge of these army grunts.
Oh my God.
Because like grunts are like new recruits.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like newly enlisted like 18, 19-year-olds.
Mhm.
So this isn't just like, oh, like these are my coworkers and like we're all around the same age. These are like low key, like they're like I know they're not minors, but they're minors.
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. They don't know anything.
They're not minors, but they're minors. They're minor adults. Anyone whose brain is not fully developed is a baby adult.
This is tough, man. This is your mom's, bro.
Like she really said, they're technically legal, and just sent them all links.
I'm really close with my mom. Like at least I like to think so, man. I legitimately cannot believe that my answer would be like, I don't want to talk to my mom anymore after. Just think about all the steps that it would take to get there. And mind you, I think, remember, Sandra, they're still gathering evidence. So it's like when they go for the restraining order, that should go be damn near permanent when they throw all that evidence down.
Restraining orders only last for X amount of years, and
but can't they just renew it?
It's hard to get it renewed.
Oh, that's tough, but ain't no way.
If there's no cause in the time that the restraining order is active, it is going to be difficult to find a justifiable reason to renew
it. As somebody who's tried to renew one and it got denied, yeah, it's very difficult.
Wow.
Like restraining orders can last for 5 to 7 years, depending. Sometimes 10, depending. If within those years there's no violations and no like form of contact or anything like that, it's very difficult to get it renewed. So if there is nothing, they're not going to renew it. because they're going to look at it and say, well, the threat is no longer there.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not going to renew it. And if you're like me and you watch a lot of like true crime stuff, that's usually when the stalker then proceeds to come and kill the girl.
Moms don't do this, bro. Just don't do this.
Like-
just don't do this.
Like I'm so shook. That's the thing to me, man. I'm just so shook by the whole story.
I'm very pleased with myself. I got Random to walk away during the coconut story. He full blown got out of his seat and walked away, and Santo fully
But he
turned off
kept
his
going
camera.
back. Taylor, he kept going back
Santo, you really wanted to be on the pod? Are you happy?
for months.
Yeah,
Taylor, for
I
months.
love having conversations, but my God, this
There
is,
were bugs and shit, Taylor, and he was still going back.
people
So what-
weird.
I haven't
man.
looked
People
at a
suck.
coconut since, Taylor.
So are you gonna look at your mom the same?
I'm looking at my mom the same way. I'm gonna tell her thank you.
Yeah, I'm
Thank you for not
Hey,
doing
Mama,
this.
appreciate it. You were amazing.
You great.
Like,
you
hey,
did
you did it by yourself. Like, nah, dap it up,
Mhm.
bro. Like, hey, let's get
Shout
you
out to
going.
single moms, because my mom was a single mom too.
I was like, bro, like,
Mhm.
I know, like, my dad was in my life, and I'm not gonna discredit my dad, but my mom was my primary. I saw my dad every other weekend.
Okay.
So my mom was a single mom.
my dad was in a whole nother continent. So
I don't know where that
Country
man is.
and continent.
I
yeah,
don't know where my dad is, man. Trash.
big
Sorry,
chilling,
I didn't
bro.
mean to laugh.
No,
Big
it's
chilling.
fine. Trash.
I'm sitting here like, oh, my dad was here just every other weekend. Random's like, my dad was in a whole nother continent. You're like, I don't know where my dad's
Like,
at.
I don't know
where-
where my dad is.
Listen, one of the few memories I have
Fuck
of my
that
dad.
dude.
My dad used me to go cheat on my mom.
Okay,
Yeah.
I understand.
Like,
I understand.
Where's a
like-
shot when I need one?
No, and I'm like, I mean, you know how you say
Wish I had the
respect
soundboard on.
respect the game,
Mhm.
but yeah, I mean,
I
hey,
feel
I'm
like I respect that game.
I'm taking my son to go play basketball. I'm in the house playing Nintendo while my
While your
dad's
dad's upstairs clapping cheeks.
clapping cheeks.
Well, this mom of this story wished that she could clap her son's cheeks.
Oh, God.
Is she not talking to other people? They never mentioned that. So does she just want to? Is her son the only person she wants to do something with? Even though they've never done
Okay.
anything.
How many
Dear
times
God, I
do you
hope they
think
never
that
have.
she had sex with somebody imagining it was her son?
Bro, I just bought a soundboard. I haven't set it up yet. Like, come on.
What are we doing?
Like, what are we doing?
Like what? Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
Moms don't do that. You
Please,
want to
please don't.
be a great parent and be involved in your kid's life. Do it. Just not like this. It's not like this. We don't want
Well,
that.
this is all I have for y'all today. Thank you so much for joining. They are both on Black Sensei Society, so you can go find them there. Santo is cuddling his support chicken, and I feel like silently screaming into it.
Jesus Christ, man. I'm bummed out right now, man.
It was not what I expected. It really was not.
I was
what
expecting some like horror type shit from you, and
or something with like a splash of comedy. Nah.
yeah, nah. The
Ma-
whole shit was just depressing.
Mom has a lightsaber dildo just swinging it in there.
See, there was comedy in it. A lightsaber dildo.
I've
That's
It was
never,
glittery.
I've only ever seen that on Saints Row 3. That's the only time I've ever seen that shit happen.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. Please come back next week where DJ will be back. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.